If you have plants at home, they are probably being attacked right now. Yes, right now, even if they look green, even if they appear healthy. Because by the time you notice the problem, it is already too late. Pests do not warn you before they arrive. They appear invisibly, silently, patiently, and when you finally see the yellowing leaf, the weakened stem, or the new shoot that stopped growing, the colony has already been established for weeks. You think, out of nowhere, my plant got worse. It was not out of nowhere. It was silent draining, day after day, sap drop by sap drop. Today, I'm going to show you a natural method that eliminates mealybugs, aphids, caterpillars, flies, and mites in seconds. Without poison, without strong odors, and using something you already have in your home right now. And once you understand how it works, you will never need chemical insecticides again. What no one tells you about these insects. Small insects do not breathe like we do. They do not have lungs. They do not pull air through a nose. Gas exchange happens directly through the surface of their bodies through tiny invisible openings called spiracles. It is as if their entire skin were a doorway to the environment. And that doorway needs protection. The bodies of mealybugs, aphids, mites, and flies are covered by an extremely thin layer of natural wax. Almost imperceptible, almost invisible, but absolutely essential. This film does two things at the same time. It keeps moisture inside the insect. And it prevents the outside environment from destroying it. As long as this barrier exists, the insect survives the sun, the wind, and temperature changes. It survives on your plant, feeding, reproducing, spreading, but when a specific substance touches that surface, the film dissolves. It does not burn, it does not poison, it does not intoxicate, it simply removes the protection. What happens next? Without that protective coating, the insect's body begins to lose water rapidly. Gas exchange becomes disrupted, internal balance disappears, vital functions collapse, in seconds. Because the process is physical, not chemical. It does not need to be ingested. It does not depend on the circulatory system. It does not require cumulative doses. It is direct contact. It touches and reacts. That is why it works so well against small pests like aphids, mealybugs, and mites, organisms with delicate bodies, exposed surfaces, and no defense against this kind of action. Larger insects are more resistant, but sap-sucking pests that cling to leaves and stems are extremely vulnerable. And here is the most important point of all. Because this is not a systemic poison, it does not enter the plant's sap. It does not contaminate the soil. It leaves no active residue for days. It works only at the moment of contact. That is why it is safe for the plant. That is why it is safe for you. That is why it has been used for decades by people who grow plants naturally. What you will need, just two things: 500 milliliters of water, 1.5 tablespoons of mild liquid soap. That is all. No alcohol, no oil, no hard-to-find ingredients. The mild soap is the active ingredient. It contains compounds that dissolve the insect's wax coating upon contact without harming the plant's cells, which have a different and more resistant structure. This biological difference is what makes the method safe for what you want to protect and deadly to what you want to eliminate. The correct preparation: pour the 500 milliliters of water into a clean container. Add the 1.5 tablespoons of mild liquid soap. Now stir slowly. This detail matters. Mixing too quickly creates excess foam. Excess foam clogs the spray bottle. And a clogged sprayer during application wastes everything. Stir for about 1 minute in a slow, steady circular motion. The water should become slightly milky. Not white, not foamy, milky. That is the correct consistency. Pour it into a spray bottle. Done. You have just made a professional insecticide using two ingredients that were already in your home. How to apply it? The 12-second secret. Never apply it in strong sunlight. The heat causes the solution to evaporate before it can act. The plant may suffer burns on wet leaves. And the pests simply dry out before they are fully covered. Apply it early in the morning or late in the afternoon. Now comes the mistake that makes most people think this method does not work. They spray only the top of the plant. The pests are not on top. Mealybugs, aphids, and mites choose the most protected areas of the plant to live. The underside of leaves, inside the new shoots, where stems and branches meet, hidden places that a careless sprayer never reaches. Always start from the bottom and work upward. Thoroughly wet the underside of every leaf, the stems along their entire length, the new shoots inside and out. Every hidden area you can reach. The moment the solution touches the insect, the countdown begins. In about 12 seconds, it loses its ability to stay attached to the plant. You can actually watch it happen. Why one application is not enough. An infestation does not exist in just one stage. It exists in 3 stages at the same time. There are the adults you can see. There are the eggs you cannot see. And there are the newly hatched young that will appear in the coming days. One application kills the adults. But the eggs survive. And 3 days later, a new generation hatches and finds a plant that appears clean, unprotected, and ready to be colonized again. That is why one application seems to work at first, and 3 days later the pests are back. They did not come back. They never truly left. The correct process works like this. Today, eliminates the adults. The active population collapses. The pests stop sucking sap immediately. 3 days later, eliminates the newly hatched young. The hidden eggs hatch, but they encounter a prepared environment, and they do not survive. 3 more days later, closes the cycle. No adults to reproduce, no young to mature. The colony disappears completely. 3 applications, 6 days, end of the infestation.